Friday Eve. Get your popcorn, get your drinks, get comfortable. We got some things to get into as we head into the 4th of July and 4th of July weekend. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and on this channel we talk about streaming shows, movies, TV shows, celebrity news, world news, local news, politics, pop culture, basically anything I find interesting. I come on and discuss with my Aries crew, and tonight we have a fabulous show lined up for you. We got some great topics, so make sure you are comfortable, you are ready to go, because we got some things we're going to get into, and it's going to get a little bit messy because we get a little bit messy over here sometimes. So we got some topics we got to touch on. Now, normally we've been following the Diddy trial on this channel, but as you know, the verdict has come out for the Diddy trial. So no real updates that way. We're waiting for him to be sentenced. He did get his bail denied. But there is a new lawsuit that has been filed against both Diddy and Cassie from a former escort. So, you know, we got to get into that because it's still messy when it comes to Diddy. He may be done with one trial, but he still has multiple pending lawsuits, and it looks like they just keep coming in. So he may not be out of the woods anytime soon. And then we got to talk about well-known YouTuber Armon Wiggins. So he's huge out here in the definitely for female rap, but he's done a lot of coverage, a lot of good coverage on the Diddy trial. Well, he's getting some backlash for his more oil that happened outside the courtroom after the Diddy verdict was read. So we got to get into that. And we have to talk about the passing of actor Michael Madsen. He passed away at age 67, so we definitely got some things we got to get into. Now, if you've been on a live before, you're familiar with this. If this is your first time, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for stopping by. Let me know in the comments if you are a first-time watcher by leaving first-time watcher, or let me know if you are a returning Aries crew member by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments. Want to give you a shout out for stopping by and spending part of your day here. And let's get into it. Got a couple more announcements, and then we're going to get into our topics for today. So we got some people coming into the room. Want to give some shout outs here. Leanne, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We got Nick, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And Lennon, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the compliment. Let me know how you guys are doing here on this Friday Eve. We got Meave. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. And if you're on Instagram, follow us there, Aries Rose TV. Let us know you're from YouTube, and we will follow you back. So definitely trying to get our numbers up over there on Instagram, and it's another way you can connect with us. So come on in over there. And here on YouTube, they have changed up the communities tab, so you can also post comments. We can have discussions on there. You can let me know about trends, topics, things you want me to talk about on the show. All you have to do is be a subscriber. So if you're not already one, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Love to have you part of the Aries crew. When you do subscribe, let us know in the comments. Going to give you a shout out and want to welcome you to the crew. And then hit that subscription, or after you hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell so you can find out every time I go live, post shorts, post videos, post on the community tab, all of that good stuff. And now we're going to get into our first story for tonight. So we got Lennon says your birthday's on July 5th. Happy birthday and happy early 4th of July. And Sujay, thank you so much for the compliment on the lipstick. Appreciate you. How is your day going? And tell me, does anybody have to work on the 4th of July? Let me know if you're working on the 4th of July or if you are off. Let me know that. And let's get into the passing of actor Michael Madsen. And this one is pretty sad. He was in Kill Bill, if you remember that movie. He's done a whole lot of other movies too. He might not be a name that you immediately recognize who he is by his name, but you'll definitely know him by how he looks. He's been in Hollywood for a long time. I've seen him in a lot of different movies over the years. So let's get into this situation here. This reporting from TMZ. It's Kill Bill star Michael Madsen dead at 67. Michael Madsen, famous for his roles in Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, and Donnie Brasco, is dead. The veteran Hollywood actor was found unresponsive in his Malibu home early Thursday and was pronounced dead at the scene, TMZ has confirmed. According to law enforcement sources, someone called 911 and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies responded and found Michael dead. The cause of death is unclear, but we're told Michael's death is being treated as natural causes. His rep Liz Rodriguez tells us he suffered cardiac arrest. Michael's reps tell TMZ, quote, in the past 2 years, Michael Madsen has been doing some incredible work with independent film, including upcoming feature films, Resurrection Road, Concessions, and Cookbook for Southern Housewives, and was really looking forward to this next chapter in his life, end quote. His team adds, quote, Michael was also prepping to release a new book called Tears from My Father, Outlaw Thoughts and Poems, end quote. Michael's camp is remembering him as, quote, one of Hollywood's most iconic actors who will be missed by many, end quote. In addition to his work in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, Michael also had roles in Thelma and Louise, Mr. Blonde, The Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Michael was born in Chicago, got his first movie gig in 1983's War Games. Let me know if you remember that movie. NBC4 Los Angeles was first to report Michael's death. He was 67. May he rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers definitely go out to his family. 67 is really young. As you become a life veteran, you realize ages that seemed really old when you were younger are not really so old as you get to be older yourself. And then you also realize getting older is a blessing. Not everybody is able to do that, and it is a gift to be able to have years beyond a certain point. And it's very unfortunate, but he did have some good years in between that birth date and that end date, and I think that's all we can really ask for is living in between, and make sure that you do that. And on that note, if you've been on lives before, you're probably already familiar with this. If you're new here, you may not know this, but in early June, we lost the father to my youngest two kids, and it's been quite a tough journey for us. He passed away unexpectedly, so we are just navigating through life without this person being here. And it's been a pretty tough experience to adjust to, especially when you don't expect it and you don't really have time to prep for that. It kind of hits you like a ton of bricks, and it definitely comes in waves. There's days when I'm okay, and then there's days where you just don't really function because you just have a lot of grief and guilt that weighs on you. So definitely can understand his family's perspective of losing him, and understand kids losing a father, something I can definitely relate to in a different way than I could prior to that personally impacting me. So I've been keeping track of kind of my feelings and thoughts and different things that have been going on during this time, because I'm going to do a live to come on and kind of talk about that, because there may be somebody else experiencing this as well. It's kind of the thing we never really talk about too much, is people's passing and what you got to do in between to heal and to be able to move on from that. And we do have a GoFundMe we set up because we weren't financially prepared for this person to pass and everything that comes along with the expenses of that. And it also helps with the care of our children. So if you are able to donate, any donation amount is greatly appreciated. I will pin the GoFundMe in the description of the video, and you can also find it on the communities tab as well. But let me know what your favorite Michael Madsen movie is. If you've seen his acting before, what movie did you really like him in? A lot of those titles I had seen him in, I really liked him in Kill Bill. I liked Kill Bill. It was a different kind of movie, but it worked. I have not seen Reservoir Dogs. If you've seen Reservoir Dogs, let me know what you think of it in the comments. We got Davis Thompson in the house. Teacher vibes. Are you saying I have teacher vibes, or are you talking about the photo that's up? Let me know. And we got some more reporting on Michael Madsen here. This reporting from TMZ, it says Michael Madsen given clean bill of health just days before his death. See, that's what scares me, is you can go to the doctor, be told that you're fine, and the next thing, poof, you're gone, and it could have something if they took a little bit more time to examine you and listen to you and really take seriously things you say to them. But let's see what's going on with this. Michael Madsen's health was cleared by doctors just days before his sudden death. This, according to his longtime friend and assistant, Dougie Smith. Dougie tells TMZ the Kill Bill star was doing a routine hospital visit at UCLA last Friday to get his rotator cuff looked at, citing complications from a fall off a horse about 2 years ago. Michael was apparently considering getting surgery, but due to his upcoming schedule, he decided to put it in a brace for the time being. Michael also suffered from a minor brain bleed from the fall, so he received a PET scan to ensure everything was looking A-okay. And according to Dougie, Michael got the all clear from docs. That's what Dougie says makes Michael's death so shocking to family and friends, adding, quote, he looked like he had been in the best health he had been in all year, end quote. That's how it goes. Dougie tells TMZ he was the one who found Michael deceased Thursday morning. He says he had not heard from him all day Wednesday, so he gave his pal a visit only to find him lifeless in his bed around 8:30 in the morning. He last spoke to the Reservoir Dogs actor Tuesday night. He says he describes him as sounding great. He noted he was looking forward to the Nashville Comic-Con in the coming days. As we reported, Michael was pronounced dead Thursday morning at his Malibu home. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ Michael's death is being treated as natural causes. Michael's rep Liz Rodriguez tells us he suffered cardiac arrest. In addition to being pumped for Comic-Con, Michael was prepping to release a new book called Tears from My Father, Outlaw Thoughts and Poems before he died. He was 67 years old. So definitely may he rest in peace. If you haven't seen any of these movies, I'm sure you can find something on Netflix, Amazon, Amazon, or what's the other one? Hulu. I'm sure you can find something he's done on there, but you should definitely go check it out. He was a solid actor and will definitely be missed. And now we got to get into YouTuber Armon Wiggins. So if you are familiar with him, he has a channel here on YouTube and he is a growing YouTuber. He's got about 280,000 followers, about that right now. Definitely on a road to 300K plus, and he's really blown up during the Diddy trial. He went out to New York and was there the entire time from the first day up until it ended, and then he does a recap live on his channel, and he did a lot of reenactments for the different testimonies and things that were discussed in court. And he just added a whole different layer to the case that made it entertaining and interesting in the way that he was telling it. And from there, it definitely grew in popularity. I've seen that he'd have lives that have as many as 20 to 22,000 people on all at the same time. So he was definitely in his element during this Diddy trial. And a part of his Diddy trial coverage, because of Diddy's love of baby oil and how much that has come up, not only in the federal raids of his homes, talking about the 1,000 baby oil bottles that they found, but also, the testimony from the different people that were involved in the freak offs and the other aspects of Diddy's life outside of his music business world and doing business itself, all mentioned how much he liked baby oil and how much baby oil they had to keep stocked. And basically, he just always wanted them to be completely glistening and oiled up. So he had this kind of running joke of more oil, more oil. And it looks like if you didn't follow his show and kind of the optics and the timing of making a joke about that just kind of rubbed some people the wrong way, and he got some backlash for it. So after the trial, there were people that were gathered out there. Naturally, a lot of YouTubers and other media was out there because this was a huge trial for anybody who's familiar with Diddy from his days in the 90s when he was like the king of hip hop, at least, definitely on the East Coast side, but he was definitely like the king of hip hop for a little bit in the 90s where a lot of his artists and songs were ruling the charts. So he was big. He was big for quite some time. And to have him on trial for these RICO charges and X trafficking, amongst other things, was huge. So a lot of people went out there, and among Armon Wiggins, you had Tisa Tells out there, Queen of Sheba, Lovely T, and Mims. Make It Make Sense was out there as well. And everybody had a little different spin on their coverage, but they were all doing a great job of reporting on what was going on. And so Armon saw somebody, I guess, that he's friends with out there, and he just said it was a spur of the moment thing. And he's like, I just want to do the more oil thing for people who have been rocking with me on my lives from day one with this Diddy trial, because his whole running thing was more oil. And so he was outside the courthouse, took off his shirt, and they were dousing him in oil. And some woman came out of nowhere. I don't know where she was from or who she is. And she came out oiled up, and then her top half was spilling out of her shirt, just kind of bouncing around. And it looked to people like Armon was maybe making fun of it or celebrating Diddy's win by saying more oil and getting doused in baby oil. But he says he was just doing something for his viewers, for his subscribers who have been rocking with him since more oil was kind of his thing. It was the culmination of the end of the trial. It was like 7-8 weeks, and he just thought, I'm just going to do this in the moment. And I have to agree with him because I've watched his breakdowns and heard the way, he was describing the trial. That was one of the things he always did. So I did not see it as him celebrating Diddy's win, because he was never really expressly supporting Diddy. He wasn't expressly against Diddy. He just kind of told whatever was being discussed and did his own creative way of reenacting it and adding his own little spin and twist to it. So I didn't take it as him trying to be um, trying to make offense to anybody or downplay the severity of the situation, of the allegations, or the testimony. But you can't control when you do something how people are going to interpret it. And he got some backlash because people felt like he wasn't being respectful to the victims and using baby oil to kind of make fun of it when it was associated with something that people had negative and traumatic situations and memories associated to. Just didn't give off the right vibe for some people. So he did put out a statement here regarding that, and we got to go over this. I thought it was pretty well written and showed a lot of growth on his end, and this is from his YouTube page. Quote, yesterday, a clip of me outside the courthouse went viral and was taken out of context. What started as a lighthearted moment, part of a long-running joke with my audience, was misinterpreted as support for Sean Diddy Combs. That was never my intention. For the past 60 days, I've worked hard to cover this case with honesty, objectivity. That moment was about sharing a bit of levity with the community that's been on this journey with me, nothing more. Still, I fully understand how the timing and optics may have felt hurtful, especially to survivors of abuse. I sincerely apologize to anyone who was impacted or disappointed. This has been a reminder to move with greater care, and I remain committed to doing this work with integrity and heart, end quote. So let me know your thoughts on this, or if you've seen the more oil scene that happened outside the courtroom after the Diddy trial. Verdict was read. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Definitely want to hear from you and see what your perspective is. We get some interesting conversations going on here with the Aries crew. Keep that vibe going. And let's go into this latest lawsuit. I almost feel like it's the same song, just a different person here, but Diddy is being sued again, and he's still got other pending lawsuits out there. So it's one down and probably 100 more to go. I've honestly lost count by how many lawsuits have been out there. I know one was dropped, the one that Tony Busby attempted to file against him and Jay-Z. That one's dropped, but I think he still has some other ones that are still out there. We got to see how those will go. But this one is a new lawsuit that's coming from one of the escorts that was involved with him and Cassie. So let's get into this one, and this reporting from TMZ. This is Cassie and Diddy sued. Male escort claims she gave him STD and alleges she did not keep a pregnancy that he had with her, allegedly. So let's get into this one. Clayton Howard, one of the male escorts prosecutors say Diddy hired, is dragging Diddy and Cassie to court, and he says Cassie gave him an STD and did not keep a baby after he got her pregnant. Howard, who says he went by Dave when he was hired for freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie, makes the salacious claims in a new lawsuit obtained by TMZ. The escort claims he contracted an STD from having X with Cassie, and he says he impregnated her, and she did not keep the pregnancy without telling him. And he alleges she then continued having sex with him without any protection. Howard is one of 7 male escorts federal prosecutors in Diddy's criminal case say were transported across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. He claims he was hired for freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie started in 2009, and he says for more than 5 years they trafficked him for the purpose of commercial X, using him as entertainment to satisfy their sexual fetishes and personal ambitions. Interesting way to phrase that. He says Cassie manipulated him into taking substances and having sex with her without any protection. And he says she would order him to touch himself for hours on end, resulting in tears, skin peeling, and scabs to his privates. Howard claims his dealings with Diddy and Cassie left him physical and psychological injury, lost wages, benefits, medical expenses, pain and suffering, emotional distress, and mental anguish, along with loss of enjoyment of life. That's a lot. Says he was not called as a witness, but was mentioned several times during testimony in Diddy's trial. A federal agent testified about Clayton's stay at a Four Seasons and a flight from New York City to LA, all paid for by Diddy. Diddy was acquitted on racketeering and trafficking, but was found guilty of transporting escorts across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. He was denied bail and remains in custody awaiting sentencing and is facing up to 20 years behind bars. Reached out to legal teams for Diddy and Cassie. So far, no word back yet. So we are going to be keeping an eye out on this to see if there's any more updates or if there's any progression in that particular lawsuit that ends up going to trial. You will get your updates here on Aries Rose TV. If you've been on the live this long, love to have you subscribe and join the Aries crew. It's free to be a part of it. We have fun over here. And then after you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can find out every time we go live, post videos, post on the community page, and post on the shorts. If you're on Instagram, follow us there, Aries Rose TV, and we'll follow you back. If you have a small business or a service and you're interested in collaborating here on the channel, I will leave my business email here in the description. Definitely reach out. Like to work with you. We'll be on live tomorrow for the 4th of July. We're going to go on live earlier, and we'll probably go live this weekend. We got to talk about Jurassic Park, the Jurassic World Rebirth movie. That one came out on the 2nd, and Megan 2.0. So you know whether or not you should go out and check out those movies. So stay tuned for those movie reviews. Thank you for watching. Share the live out with family and friends. It helps to grow the channel, get some more eyes on us. We'll see you later. Have a great rest.